Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, to SETA Foundation this morning. We came together today with a distinguished world leader. We cannot help but recognize our interconnectedness, our shared interest in the issues at stake in this conversation, our shared investment in understanding and responding to the global challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite Professor Burhanettin Duran, the General Coordinator of SETA Foundation, to make their welcoming remarks.
Dear guests, Mr. President Mohamud, it's a great honor to host you here at SETA headquarters. It's a great moment for us to host Mr. President Mohamud as a think tanker president at SETA. We are proud of this great moment. Well, Somalia has a very deep place in our hearts as Turkish people. Since our president, then Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan's visit to Somalia, we have very deeply consolidated bilateral relations. Somalia is a gate, a key to Turkey's African policy, East African policy. Over the years, there is so much emphasis on this, and as SETA, we have produced many works on that. We held some talks, some workshops, and published some reports in this regard. Simply because of the fact that Somalia is a very critical part of Turkey's Africa policy. And we believe that this will continue in the coming decades, since Turkey has a very comprehensive African policy. This is based on win together approach, especially different from the ex-colonial states in Africa. As you know, Africa stands out as one of the geographies where the transformation in the global system has the most significant impact. And at the same time, the importance and effect of Africa in the global system is increasing. Especially in the first quarter of the 21st century, Africa has made a name for itself as a continent with a promising rising star appearance in the international system. The most significant indicator of Turkey's policy towards Africa is that Turkey shares its experiences and practices on the basis of, on the equal basis. This is not a relationship you can compare to other global powers like China or Russia or some European countries. It's humanitarian, economic, political, and military-based relationship. But at the same time, it's a brotherhood relationship. It is possible to have a common vision together with African states and with Somalia to have more African solutions to Africa's problems. Turkey is not, in that sense, Turkey doesn't act as an external power in Africa. On the contrary, Turkey supports African solutions to Africa's problems. And Turkey's relations with Somalia is one of the most significant examples to that. I remember the days of our President Erdogan's visits to Somalia. In each case, you will see how people are embracing him as their Somalian people. It is the same with us. President, Your Excellency, President Mohamud is at home here, not at SETA in Turkey as well. So this unique relationship between Turkey and Somalia should be furthered on other areas as well. Yes, I know that this has some economic, military, and civil societal aspects, but at the same time, President Mohamud represents a great effort to make a transition to democracy and consolidate democracy in Somalia. Actually, this is a great moment for the East African stability, and Turkey as a stabilizing power in the surrounding region is very ready to support and to contribute to President's efforts in stabilizing and democratizing its country. And we have here some representatives of our Minister of Foreign Affairs. And at the same time, we know that our Foreign Ministry does a good job in Somalia. And at the same time, TİKA, Yunus Emre Institute, Turkish Airlines, Presidency for Turks Abroad and Related Communities, Maarif Foundation, Red Crescent, Turkish Diyanet Foundation, AFAD, and various other non-governmental organizations are in Somalia, and they are at home. And I believe that this will continue in the next years and decades, and the President's visit, official visit to Turkey is a great opportunity for doing this. And I believe that Mr. President will lead Somalia to a more significant, more effective place in East Africa to give a shining example to all other African countries. This is a long way, but I believe that there is such a strong will, and at the same time expertise to do that. In this context, Turkey is ready to contribute to this, and as SETA, we are at the same position. Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, again, and dear guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. I invite His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, the President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, to make their keynote speech.
Thank you. Thank you. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and privilege to be given this opportunity to me to deliver a speech at this prestigious institution, SETA, Foundation for Political, Economic and Social Research on Somalia's experience of the benefits of its partnership with Turkey. This topic is very important to my government and my people to share with you where our journey started and where we are right now. Among the key benefits that we had, our partnership is so many, but I would like to summarize a few of them here. Before that, I would like to say it's a great honor and pleasure for me, and I'm very much grateful for the warm welcome and hospitality that accorded to me and my delegation here to the Republic of Turkey, Ankara, by His Excellency, the President and the people of Turkey. Among the key benefits of Somalia's relationship with Turkey is a strong political and diplomatic connection, strategic security assistance among us, and cooperation in the fight against the global terrorism. As you know, Somalia has been struggling for the last 15 years. An international terror group who is linked to Al-Qaeda, which has a global agenda to destabilize the lives of many people. It's very unfortunate that their base becomes Somalia. They are not Somali, of course, ideologically, and even people, but unfortunately they are based in Somalia. That's why they become a terror organization attached with the name Somalia. My motto this time is to build a Somalia in peace with itself and in peace with the rest of the world. So reconciliation, peace building is a main theme for us. But there are certain prerequisites to do that, which is security. Security is the key, and it is a top priority for us to have a secure environment where we can make even the reconciliation itself. You can't do reconciliation, you cannot bring people together when there is someone who wants to exploit that gathering and kill the largest number possible, and then feel that is a glorious and victorious. My government's guiding vision in this, my second term as a president, is Somalia at peace with itself and at peace with the rest of the world. What does this mean? Very simply, we wanted to focus on rebuilding Somalia's core governance structures and systems to be as inclusive, transparent, and beneficial as possible to enable our country to be more unified, stable, and cohesive, and stand with a sustainable development. Somali people will be at the core of implementing this vision, and we know that it is for Somalis to do the heavy lifting for their own future. However, Somalia is still fragile as we are slowly recovering from the traumatic and prolonged period of civil strife, and the healing and the reconciliation process has started, but it is a journey rather than a race. Forgiveness, societal cohesion, and public trust in the national institutions will take place. We have a social reconciliation agenda to reconcile our society socially in all their settings, and we have another agenda which is a political reconciliation, which we wanted to have a unified constitution and a federal state institutions that lead and promote the common interest among the Somali people, while we allow the local people to address their own local issues and agendas. I'm convinced that this is the shortest path that we can follow in order to see a prosperous Somalia in the near future, inshallah. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Somalia and Turkey have enjoyed centuries-old relationship based on respect and cooperation. However, this relationship was catapulted to new heights by the historic visit of then Prime Minister Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan in August 2011 at the height of Somalia's humanitarian crisis in Mogadishu. At the time, Mogadishu was a no-go zone, red line that nobody goes there. So the whole world was astonished when they see President Erdogan, his family, his cabinet, and the parliamentarians in the streets of Mogadishu, walking in the streets of Mogadishu, visiting and staying inside the IDP camps. This was something that no one was expecting is possible, but it was a reality that happened. From this action, it's clear why Somali-Turkey relationship are strong today. It is based on the minds and the hearts among our people, reviving their centuries-old historical bond. Because there is a commitment to strengthen it by its own people and relationship. This relationship is increasing day after day. In all my meetings with President Erdogan, members of the Turkish government, the civil society, and the business community, Somalia is seen as a more than just an opportunity. It is a place where the Turkish government and people rightly feel they can partner with the Somali people to reverse a very challenging situation which can transform the lives of millions of Somali people and create opportunities to enjoy the benefits of our political and social. It is not only humanitarian that drives the Turkish energy to support Somalia, as in many other countries, particularly in the West, but it's a value-based sense. That is what drives the Turkish government and the Turkish people to support Somalia. Somalia is receiving support from all over the globe for the last couple of decades, but the one of Turkey is unique and different. And why? Because it's a value-based, it's a faith-based. It's not only fulfilling international obligation only. Security is my government's #1 priority, because without it, very little else is possible. In Somalia, we are fighting nothing short. We are fighting an international terrorism on our soil, as Al-Shabaab is Al-Qaeda affiliate with international aspiration, which has carried out attacks in our neighbor countries and faraway continents as well. Al-Shabaab is not Islamic. They are a radicalized and violent group who are misrepresenting the beautiful and the peaceful Islamic religion to suit their criminal needs and justify hurting and extorting the innocent people's well-being. However, the group's actions are detrimental to the Somali people and the rest of the world, and we must redouble our effort to end their terror. The long-standing policies of containment. There are certain policies that has not, some people, intellectuals, researchers in prestigious institutions like this may ask why this problem of Al-Shabaab is existing for 15 years. This is a fundamental question, and it is an intellectual question that one has to think and seek answers. Because the actions of the government, the actions of the state institutions are based on policies that are set. Based on that policies, government institutions or international agencies react and do whatever they do. So we have a number of policies in the past, some of which were good but not enough. We were having a policy, the containment policy. Since Al-Shabaab is an international terror group, our international partners and our neighbors and many of them, they just decided to contain Al-Shabaab inside Somalia. They should not spill over to the neighboring countries. They should not export their ideologies to many other parts. Somalia has the privilege to have a large diaspora all over the world. And some of this diaspora is attracted by Al-Shabaab. So they came, train it, take the ideology, and may go back to Europe, America, and then make disruptions there, because the agenda of Al-Shabaab is a global one. It's not a local one. So all over the world has a concern about the actions and the strategies of Al-Shabaab. So that containment policy was, let us push back Al-Shabaab, keep them there, and we fight them inside Somalia. So that policy was there, but Shabaab was becoming more and more stronger every day. So then come to another policy which says that let us degrade the ability of Al-Shabaab to operate so that they cannot attract the diaspora, they cannot export their ideology, they remain on the run, so they are not stable enough to think and put their strategies in place. It's called degrading Al-Shabaab. Attacking the leadership, destroying their training camps, taking some of their properties. But at Shabaab, they developed a coping mechanism so that even if their organizations or facilities are destroyed, they have the capacity to reestablish it again. Very autonomous, very dispersed. They came together again, and then you destroy the camp here or training center here, and in a week's time, you have again the training center and the guesses. So it is some sort, that's degrading. It was good policy by depleting the capacity of Al-Shabaab, but that was not enough. For us in Somalia, containment policy for us is not an option anymore for us. And this degrading policy is not enough. It's a good policy, but it's not enough. Now, in this time, we Somalis develop a new policy, which is not degrading, not containment, but eliminating Al-Shabaab, annihilating. Let us finish Al-Shabaab at all. And the previous two policies were militaristic policies. All of them, they based it on military, attacking, destroying. But Shabaab's problem is more than, okay. But Shabaab's problem is more than a military only. So now the new policy dictates three fronts to address the challenge of Al-Shabaab. Militarily, to continue, is already there, but new frontier is opened, which is ideological war. We need to take back the narrative of Islam at all from Shabaab, because they are not the right people to take that narrative. It belongs to us. It belongs to the Somali people. It belongs to the Somali people who are 100% Muslims, united in the faith of Islam, who are 100% Sunnis, and even who are 100% Shafi'i school of thought. So there's a unifying factor for the Somali people, the Islamic faith. So it's we, and the government is the right institution and the right people to represent, protect our faith. So ideological front is another front. The third is economic front. We need to fight Al-Shabaab, because now Al-Shabaab has become very strong and deep-rooted inside Somalia in the rural area. 70% of the population of Somalia lives in the rural area, and they are the ones who are there today in the rural area. So they are collecting what they call zakawat, or the contribution, or jihad taxation, or whatever name they give different. They collect money, livestock, food, whatever, grains, whatever the people have in the rural area. And now they are in the metropolitan places also collecting revenue from the business, from markets, from everywhere. So we need to close those taps that are giving them the reinforcement, financial force. So these three fronts are the new fronts and approaches that we are going to address the challenge of Shabaab. There are strong arguments among the international partners and some of even the Somali intellectuals who says that historically this type of war never ends militarily. Maybe true. We've no problem, but we are not right now in a position to negotiate with Al-Shabaab. We will at the right time. We will negotiate with them, and we will finish peacefully. And even now, we open a door for those who wanted to denounce the violence, the extremist ideologies, and join the mainstream life of Somali, if they want, even to open their political parties or whatever they want, but not with the distorted ideology, not with the extremism ideology, not with using the violence as a means to reach the end. These are some of the new approaches that we are going. Now, where Turkey fits with this is the next point that I would like to emphasize. Turkey is capacitating Somalia. Not only the largest embassy in the African continent Turkey has in Somalia, but there are also other facilities that support Somalia economically, that support Somalia to develop a security capability. Our security, the seed of our army, we are establishing a regular professional army in a very democratic context. And the seed of that army, one is Turkey is building part of that new generation of our army, train it inside Somalia. There is a Turksom training center there that trains our elite security forces. They are also brought here, given special training here as well. Not only that, here in Turkey, Turkey universities are, I'm seeing number of young Somalis who are sitting, which home I believe they studied or they are studying right now in Somalia. In 2011, when President Erdogan came there, universities in Somalia was very, very limited in number, and even secondary schools were limited, and secondary school and intermediate school students were taken from Somalia, brought here in Turkey, and they finished their secondary education here, and they started university here, and some of those boys and girls today, they are PhD holders. They got their PhD here. So not only the military and the security sector, but the other civil service people also are trained here in Somalia. So Turkey is capacitating the new Somalia in terms of security, in terms of economy, and in terms of intelligence as well. So this is where Turkey fits. Turkey supports financially Somalia, provided budget support to the government of Somalia, which reduces the burden that we have in our fragile economy and fragile institutions for the revenue collection. Turkey is also capacitating our diplomatic efforts and training our diplomats throughout the world. Turkey is capacitating Somalia technologically, providing technology equipment and technology facilities and technology training for our young civil servants inside Somalia as well. Together we have a partnering in the economic sector, in our business people, our private people, companies are working together. We have a number of Somali companies here in Turkey, and we have a number of Turkish companies there in Somalia. Our airport, the biggest international airport we had, is run by a Turkish private company that has an agreement or contract with the Somali government. That company has increased our revenue and modernized our airport system and facility. Similar is the biggest seaport we had in Mogadishu, run by a Turkish company, who also similarly increased our revenue and increased the facility. There was no, for example, if I give one example, before that a Turkish company take over Mogadishu seaport, there was no container facility in Mogadishu. Now we have a huge number of container container terminals that are operating there with a very modern equipment in our. So this private government partnership is there. Besides the government partnership, we also have a government-private partnership in Somalia and private-to-private partnership as well in many so many other private companies. Construction companies are there, and large number of Turkish companies are there. As well as Somali companies, they're starting here. Of course, there are certain challenges they are facing here, which we will be sharing with our partner, with our brothers in the government. But the relationship people to people is developing very fast, and by the day developing. Somalis, they have privileges here in Turkey. Although last night I met the Somali community here demanding more and more, which they deserve actually because of their situation and who we are. In conclusion, Somalia's experience of the benefits of Somalia-Turkey partnership is extremely positive and growing by the day and by the night. Yes, you know, politics and economic situation of the global today, there are ups and downs, but our relationship is steadily growing. Turkey has and continues to stand by Somalia, our people, as we continue to our journey to stability and progress. Somalia-Turkish relationship are underpinned by a common commitment and dedication to the betterment of the lives of our two people, and cooperation in all areas that help to achieve this end. As a result of this, I'm confident that the ties between our two nations will only get more strengthened as we move forward together to a brighter future opportunity based on our win-win partnership. This win-win partnership is not only between government to government, it's people to people, it's business to business. There are a lot of opportunities in Somalia which Somalia alone cannot benefit, but with the know-how and the capacity of Turkey, I think we can mutually benefit those areas in Somalia. I would like to conclude my remarks. We as Somalis will remain indebted to the support that we provided by the Turkish government, and I'm very much grateful to be here today and share with you the experience that we had together. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mr. Burhanettin Duran and His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. The Q&A session will start in a minute.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your speech. In your speech, you emphasized your great effort to fight against terrorism, including Shabab. And I know that Turkey is providing support to your security, your country's security. How effective is Turkey's support in ensuring security and stability in Somalia?
Thank you very much. And as I said earlier, Turkey is supporting Somalia in the security sector. It's one of the areas that we're receiving support from Turkey. And that support is in terms of developing human capability, training our forces, and equipping them with a modern equipment, as well as sharing information and experience with the terrorists. Turkey has a very good experience on the war against terror because you eliminated them once they tried in this great country. So you share your, Turkey has shared with its experience. Once in a while we receive experts from Turkey who train and talk and share their experience with our people who are engaged in the war against the terrorism. Turkey provides modern equipment and as well, as I said earlier, trains our elite forces there inside Somalia and here in Turkey. They brought here, which some of them I'm going to visit even today in their training areas. So in all areas, technically, experience-wise, information sharing, capacity building in terms of human capacity, all these areas Turkey is supporting Somalia, of course, with other international partners as well.
Mr. President, your government represents actually a stable area for Somalia, and you're trying to have more democratic and institutionalized state in your country. What steps are planned to take in the first stage to increase the state capacity in Somalia? How important is it for Somalia to benefit from strategic partnership while making these all efforts?
Somalia is a unique case. We have multiple challenges in place. We fight a global war, but in our territory. So by doing that, we also, parallelly, we're building state institutions, addressing the complex challenges of fragility in a very fragile situation. So in these terms, we have multiple programs, which we call them the capacity injection programs, supported by many international partners as well. Turkey, in that case, as I said, they train a human capital, civilian who works in the civil service. Turkey provides budget support for our limited means. So in all these areas together, in that line, as I said, our motto, which was Somalia in peace, and itself and in peace with the rest of the world. That means we have built structures within the state institutions at the center, the federal government, and at the peripheries, the federal member states as well, which leads to the reconciliation of the society, so that our people can come back together and own together the state that we are building. So in that line, we are very much involved. Priority areas like completing, we have a constitution, which is not complete yet as a provisional constitution. We are going to complete that constitution and build the necessary institutions like constitutional court and others. So we are in a continuous review and reform in all areas of the state institutions at the center and at the local level.
Well, Mr. President, we know that Somalia should not be considered as a country that needs aid. Mm-hmm. But in building countries' capacity, sustainable investments are crucial. Mm-hmm. So, you know, investments should come to Somalia rather than aid, mm-hmm. and this is the main argument. In this context, what are the priority investments mm-hmm. in Somalia?
Well, as you rightly said, aid is not an option, but it is it's an option that has been brought by the circumstances. Somalia is a rich country in terms of resources. We have ample arable land, which is good for the agriculture. We have the longest coastline, which is full of resources, whether that resources is fish or minerals or carbohydrates. Oil and gas are recently explored in Somalia, not still utilized. We have livestock, a very large number of livestock. But the situation is not an enabling situation. What we are more focused right now is making the environment a very conducive and enabling environment. That is what compels our people to receive aid and grants and all this. But that will be short term. We will move forward, and we will going to reach a time when we will be the donors who provide donation to many other countries. Somalia is a rich country, but circumstances make it poor, and that's temporary. So investment areas that are easily benefited from Somalia is agriculture, while the world today is facing very serious food security challenges. The maritime resources, like fishing industry, like the oil and gas industry, which is now proven reserves there in Somalia, the livestock, We have the largest stock, yes. Droughts and all this have impacted our livestock, but still we have a livestock, very, very ample livestock that can be benefited. And we have other minerals as well. So in terms of resources, Somalia is a rich country, but this is the situation that we are going to move forward. So opportunities are all those three areas that we are traditionally good: livestock, agriculture, farming, and marine fishing. These are the areas. Now we have fourth sector, which is oil and gas as well.
I know that Turkish business sector is a very vibrant one, and I believe that your emphasis on the areas that Somalia needs some investment will attract to their interests. For Turkish people, Somalia is an exceptional country. We have a very big place in our hearts for Somalian people.
That's true.
And at the same time, I stated that this is not just a brotherhood, but at the same time, it's a common interest between Turkey and Somalia. And we know that our relations are constantly moving upward. We are, broadening our partnership. But still, of course, there are some other areas that need improvement in Turkey and Somalia relations. What are they, Mr. President?
Well, we have a common, in many areas, we have a common understanding and common agenda in the global issues, whether it's in the United Nations or the African Union or in many other places, Somalia and Turkey. In the challenging world of today, diplomatically, we have, in many areas, we have common agenda, and we address commonly. And the other area that, we basing our discussion or our partnership, the situation that exists today, and the mid-term and the long-term that may come. The current situation of Somalia is liberating Somalia from the terror groups, which we, as I said, we are partnering. And in the short term is tapping the untapped resources of Somalia with the Turkish capacity, with the Turkish technology, Turkish capacity to support Somalia to benefit from those resources. That also there is a lot of area that we agree. And in the meantime, not only benefiting, but also building the capacity of Somalia to handle its own affairs in the long term or the future areas. So we have specific areas that we partner, and we have areas that we partner with other international partners as well. The most important thing is now, maybe, as I said, our priority is security, state building, but the future is, as I said, Africa is the future, the continent with the highest per capita youth people, the resources, everything. So it's the continent of 21st century, and Somalia is one of the gateways that Africa, and Turkey is one of those countries who have the historic link and the traditions with African people in many parts, and Somalia can be a gateway to that with the Turkish capacity, of course, and support. So we have a short-term and long-term agenda for both Somalia and the continent of Africa.
Mr. President, I know that you have a very important meeting with our President, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, tomorrow. And I believe that you will have a very productive talk with him in those issues. And as SETA and our participants, we will be watching, following the developments, the areas that you will make improvement in our bilateral relations. I'd like to thank you for making available this event and sparing your time for us and giving this opportunity. And thank you very much indeed. And thank you all the participants.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Our panel has ended. Thank you for your attention.